Governor? That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
All of us must be vigilant. So if you receive an evacuation order, please leave immediately. If you receive a warning, get ready. Protect yourself and protect each other. And don't divert firefighters from our strategy. Signals are out and the roads have debris. So stay off the roads unless you are evacuating or have another emergency. Be prepared, food, water, medicine, a bag packed and ready. Again, this is an active situation. And conserve water to the extent that you can. We want to make sure that we are ready if we need more water. But make no mistake, Los Angeles will rebuild stronger than ever. Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL.
The horror. The horror. I used that little piece at the end of the opening for a reason. Most people misinterpret it, the end of Apocalypse Now, for that meaning it's the horror of the jungle. But the reality is it's the horror of the life that we lead, that we live in. And sometimes you see things that just is apocalyptic, as you could say, and this is what's going on in California right now, is the horror that's going on there. Just as a programming note, we've had to record this a couple of times and change a couple of things around because the amount of information keeps changing. In this final edit, would make it the 10th of January 2025. So just note anything that happens after that, basically we will try to add on later on in another video. But once again, it's January 10th at the time of this final record and edit. And the thing is that with what's going on in California as far as the wildfires, I mean, it's unspeakable what's going on. The loss of communities, counties, the Palisades, Malibu, Hollywood Hills, many other places on there. At this current moment, at the time of this recording, we know that 10 are dead because of this fire. But it could be greater once the fire is over and the dust is clear. But the fire hasn't been all put out. It still continues. I think we're up to 5 fires at this point that is going on. And then on top of that, and we're seeing this, and we already saw an arrest, that we'll mention this again later on, is that there are homeless people that have started fires in between this. Now, some of them mentally unstable, some of them, and this is why some people said that the fire started this way, is that they have encampments and they started fires to keep themselves either warm or cook food. This might have been the cause. We still don't know to this point what started this fire. And then we have the politicians scrambling, from Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, and many others that are trying to put blame to where there is no blame to, other than to look in the mirror themselves. Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, and I'll say this, they need to go. Plain and simple, they need to go. They need recalls. This is something that has happened. and people were diverted to the situation. And I question that last recall election. I really do. With all the situations that happened, this guy should have been out. I mean, there have been so many problems in California itself. And the thing about it is, you have to remember to this perspective. DEI is the most racist thing anyone has ever come up with. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's Marxist. That's, communism talk. Why? This is the perfect example. They wanted to hire people in the gay community, women, gay women, lesbian women, stuff like that to come in the fire department. Number one, I have no problem having gays in the fire department, and there probably are already. Because they don't tell you they're gay doesn't mean that they're not. Because basically there are people that don't want you to know their business of their sexuality. It's none of anyone's business. They're there for a job to do. The other half of this is, okay, there are jobs out there not meant for everyone. Yeah, and I completely said it. There are jobs out there that are not for everyone. That includes police, fire, construction, and many others. Why is it? Well, basically, it takes a certain fortitude and strength. Fire department is a perfect example. And many people have said, well, a woman can be a fireman. They say, technically, yes and no. For the reason. And if you've never seen any videos on how they train, how they test, you have to carry a lot of weight with you. Oxygen, hoses, a lot of weight. And sometimes you got to bring someone out with a lot of weight. I myself, my size, my weight, I could not join the fire departments at any city. And it's not because they're excluding me because I'm a Hispanic or I'm a short person. It's just basically I am a short person, but, I couldn't go through the endurance, the physical endurance of it. Not everyone can do. Even someone who is a 6'3" man in good health physically, sometimes they don't even pass those tests. So when you say out there, oh, white guys should do well, maybe it's because a lot of them, are physically fit to handle it. I mean, there are some, minority ones that are physically fit. But see, they try to push these things, and and they do it on TV also. They do it on television also. What you see on TV, I mean, even going back, I mean, like I said before, I watched Emergency, I'm watching now. Some of it's like, it's dramatized for television. But other things is based on reality. Reality of the scope is, you have situations where you're hiring people just because of their sexuality, because of their gender, and not for their experience, okay? For basically, can they do the job that they are hired to do within the parameters of whatever job it is? Just to put into this premise, because you'll say, well, we got to have it all equal. Okay, do you know why DEI is very racist to the point? Because there are already laws on the books, state and federal, that tell you cannot discriminate anyone for race, creed, color in that situation, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you look to the perspective that you're zeroing in on a certain part of the population, you're violating the law. And if you notice it, they don't do it for the NFL. They don't do it for the NBA. Yeah, exactly. But this is one of many things that goes on in California. Besides the water, besides, that they basically, that they don't want to clean up. They don't want to clean up their forest because they said, no, we can't touch the forest. Meanwhile, the federal government this was back when Trump was president, and now he's president again. They were suing him because he was trying to get the work done. And they spent millions of the taxpayers' money on those lawsuits. And right now, this week, like I said, this is the 10th, they're planning to sue again when he gets back into office.
Is now the right time to have a special legislative session on allocating money to fight Trump in a way that you could already do without a special legislative session?
So I'm here to address these wildfires. This is a historic wildfire.
People are trying to understand what's going on and are worried about disaster relief, worried about the ability to get homeowners insurance. Your chamber gavelled into a special legislative session to prepare for Donald Trump.
To stop this situation from them putting it to basically open up the sections of the water that's flowing into the ocean and putting it back into California. The other half is, and you have to realize this situation on this fire. For them to say, well, we got to save the fishies. You're dealing with one species. What about the rest of the environment around them? Are you saving that? No, you're not. What effect do you have by doing this? This is the same thing when they're putting up solar panels or putting up wind turbines and stuff like that. You're affecting the environment. You're creating a bigger situation to the environment than you wanted to stop. Right now, in the air the air is so polluted because of those fires, it will not equal to the amount of carbon that's spewed by man itself. At the beginning of mankind, we had volcanic eruptions and fires and stuff like that, even before man was here. And that's spewed up into the air. That's the pollution that's gone up there. How long is that going to stay up there? It's the same thing that happened here in New York. When we had the Canadian fires and we had that air quality bad, I couldn't breathe. I had the air filters, and the air filters, they couldn't do their work properly. They were struggling to do their job. I had to keep the windows closed. I couldn't open the windows for air. It was hard to breathe. Can you imagine an elderly person who basically, has a heart issue, a lung issue situation? Could you imagine what they were breathing like? And what is to come? The thing is, the media is talking with all the celebrities out there and stuff like that. What about the blue-collar workers out there that have lost their homes? The people who couldn't afford now to build a home? Because I'll tell you this. Even with insurance, there is no fucking way, because of the new building laws that they put into effect in California, they'll be able to rebuild their home. Even if they had the money, the process, if you're lucky, 3 to 5 years at the earliest, that you'll be able to put the first freaking shovel down to take care of things. And it'll cost you more money to basically to put this house together, for the reason is there are new laws and situations like you have to put solar panels on there. You got to go by the way they want the electric to go into your home, the way to feed the water, that they have to put devices on your home and stuff like that. There's a lot into this. Oh, and those homes in the Palisade Hills and Malibu and all that are gone, they're not coming back. They're never coming back. Why? Because now that region on there, and especially with the new laws and stuff like that, wouldn't allow them to build up there. So don't expect to see any homes that basically were destroyed that they'll be returning. On top of that, is FEMA going to be part of this situation? Are they going to provide, or are they going to give that little $700 like they did to at the Carolinas on the East Coast? Are they going to do that again? We know from Biden, guess who's going to flip the bill? Those of you outside California. All the other, they're going to say, yeah, your taxes you're going to fix this all up. This is the state issue. This is why, as James Woods said in...
Laura, with all due respect, if it is true that things were handled this way, if it is true that Gavin Newsom is the absolute blithering idiot that I believe he is in the way he has handled fire management in this state again and again and again and again, this isn't a wake-up call. This is the kind of thing they have tribunals for, where they try people and say, you had an oath of office to perform certain duties. When you're the fire chief, this isn't a social justice exercise that you're in charge of. This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds burning houses to the ground.
They are responsible, especially the governor. They're going to say, well, it's the voters. They voted the situation. You could put some blame on the voters, but when it comes down to it, who put the paper down? Who signed the situations? Governor. And the mayor on top of that. Remember, this is a governor that basically during COVID, he was out partying, drinking wine, having fun while we all stayed at home. Remember that. Remember that. It's like they'll say, Nero stood with the fiddle, played his fiddle while Rome burned. And guess what? Rome is burning. Rome is burning. And once again, I'm going to put this in a nice bow and tell you, this is where the fault here lies with the mismanagement of the state by liberals. You have those that are saying, well, we must not upset the ecosystem. Really? It is the mismanagement of the ecosystem that's partially to blame for this fire. When it comes to the forest in here, there's no cleanup. There's no brush cleans of dead trees, of branches that have broken off and down to the ground. That is just literally tinder for these fires. On top of that, the water that is needed to shut this down is practically non-existent. And yes, I've seen on X, they said, well, this is misinformation. No, it's not. All you have to do is look back. This is the point where you've had Governor Newsom approved a situation to basically help salmon move along by destroying a dam that was well needed for the residents of California. The billions that were put to build reservoirs to help water into the communities in California either hasn't been started or hasn't been completed as of yet. Remember, this is the same state that put billions into a railway system, high speed, hasn't been built yet. No, hasn't been built at all. There's a third party coming in negotiating something between Nevada to California. They're going to get it done quicker. This is the same company that built the one in Florida from Miami to Orlando and is about to complete it in the next couple of years. And it's working. There's still some things they have to iron the bugs out, including traffic signals and stuff like that, which that happens on every train system throughout the country. Meanwhile, them pushing rules to basically censorship in California to basically butcher children in California, to basically control your heating and air conditioning, forcing you to buy solar panels on your home, if whether you want it or not, pushing for green energy that does not work properly, forcing you to buy electric cars, which are having their issues, increase in taxes, increase in energy bills, government telling you when you buy property and you haven't started building your home there, telling you can't put a camper there so you could prepare to build your home, and telling them no, you can't live there. Yeah, this has happened in California. This is the California of today. This is the issues that people have moved away from California. Why they've lost a good large amount. And we're not even going into the illegal immigration yet situations. We ain't going into the drug issues like in San Francisco that is going on. It is time for certain politicians. Mayor Karen Bass, she needs to go. Gavin Newsom, he needs to go. This is the time and place. For those of you who live in California, it's time to recall them all. You've already recalled district attorneys, and you've made a change. You put a prop out, thank God, Prop 36, to make shoplifting a felony.
It's a felony? New laws. Stealing is a felony. And this is Orange County. They don't play.
Thank God for that. Because you got people out there that are going to throw politics, environmentalism. You know, they're going to tell you, hey, we got to save the trees and we got to save the fishies and stuff like that. At the threat of hurting the constituents of California. Water has been an issue for decades now. The fires in California have been an issue for many years now. It is an easy way to resolve it, but they're not going to pump the money into it. This fire has similarities to Maui, to the hurricane how they handled North Carolina, and how they're handling Puerto Rico with its power issues. And it all comes down to the basis of liberal policies. Remember that position, that a good chunk of California voted red for this election, which is unheard of, basically, for California, which happens to be a very strong liberal state. And a good chunk of them voted for Trump this time around. For those of you who voted left, right, however, you're a citizen of this country. You should be treated better. The people you voted for has done this to you. This is not a climate change situation. Never was. For those of you out there, Bernie Sanders, is climate change caused this? No. We don't even know what started the fire. There have been some people say that it possibly might have been some homeless people that may have started this, which someone has been throwing some videos out there showing you that this happened. Now, was this the cause of the fire? We don't know. Could have been lightning, for all we know. Could have been a wire come down. This could have been a lit cigarette. This could have been a chain hitting the ground, sparking, because this is to the point where you have to understand that these fires, it's very easy for them to start. And it has nothing to do with the climate itself. It has to do with cleanup. If you have a home and you got newspapers from bottom to top in there, a fire could erupt very easily if you smoke cigarettes. If you're lighting your stove to that situation, lighting a candle, the candle falls over, starts a fire. That's how easy it is to light a fire in California right now. It doesn't take much. And this is what happens on a constant basis. And it needs to be resolved. Gavin Newsom is not going to resolve this. Mayor Karen Bass is not going to resolve this. We need a change in government and to have an overview. And we need some government intervention on this. Because we need to put water back into our reservoirs. We need these forests to be cleaned up. The damage that this is causing, and like I said, this was taped last week, how much more damage that is going to be pushed by the time this video hits. So once again, our condolences to the families that may have lost family members. Those of you who have lost your homes, our prayers are with you. We here are with you. We want to get you back. Hopefully that you didn't lose your home, but if you did, there are instances where people will be able to come and help. Let's branch and bring us all together in this apocalyptic crisis that is going on. We are Americans and we must stand together, whether we're left, right, up, down. Don't matter who we are in this country. We are Americans first, and remember that. So comment, let me know your thoughts, subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you on the next video. Once again, prayers out there to all of you. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.